Hey Virgo, how are you? My name's Danielle. Welcome to Moonlight Intuition. This is going to be a general reading for you. And if there are messages that resonate with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I also post free weekly readings for all 12 zodiac signs. So come on, join the fam. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, all the info for that is in the description box below. And let's just see what we got for you today. Ooh, oh, that's so interesting. I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, Virgo, love this for you. First, we have the King of Swords reversed. We have a wild card that is not in the traditional tarot, and that the artist of this particular deck has just included kind of two original cards with original artwork, and it is this. You got this. I'll tell you why this is, well, a couple of reasons why this is interesting, but as I was shuffling, this one kind of like peeked out and I was like, no, and I kept shuffling and then it came out anyway. So, and this is very relevant considering we have an eclipse coming up on the 25th, which is, I'm doing this today on the 23rd. So there's an eclipse happening in Libra, which is the sign of relationships. It is happening in 2 days. So this is very relevant to that. And then we have the moon. Now, I mean, okay. The fact that this card is coming up, like, not to say that this is a love reading. I don't really do love readings. I mean, I might, but this is not a love reading. But certainly, I feel like this reading has to do with how you've shown up with others in the past and how you might see these dynamics changing. So there's something here with the King of Swords reversed. I mean, okay, I'll put it upright so you can see it. But the King of Swords, I mean, any king in any suit is kind of like the master of its suit. And this is irrelevant of gender. It's just the king is like, in terms of tarot, is the kind of master of the suit. And the sword, sorry, is the element of, it's also the element of air, which is interesting because it's Libra, with the Libra eclipse coming up. But it's the element of air, which is, you know, it's of the mind, communication, logic, it's ideas. And also the king, I feel like the king and the queen of swords, it's like, you know, there's no bullshit, right? It's like, there's no dancing around the truth with these court cards. Now, for some of you, you might be dealing, maybe you are in a relationship with an air sign specifically. For some of you, again, this is a general reading, it will resonate in different ways, but maybe some of you are in a relationship or have your eye on someone or had kind of a tumultuous past. Maybe there's some kind of air sign relevance to you, or maybe you have some prominent air sign placements in your chart, but this could be any kind of like Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra energy. But there's something about this being reversed that I think it's like, Virgo, you might be, you know, being called or moved towards, or maybe it's dawning on you how in the past, maybe how you've maybe intellectualized relationships, or maybe have been more logical about them than in your feelings about them. You know what I mean? Which is okay. It's like every sign is different. I think, Virgo, you are such a practical sign. And so how perhaps in the past, and it is beneficial, like I'm a water sign. I'm like, and I'm learning the practical side of life. So these things are not bad. These things are your superpowers. But at the end of the day, it's like everything is just calling us further, closer towards center. So it's like for you, right? It's like, I've said this in a lot of your readings. It's like you're a mutable earth sign. Your opposing side is mutable water, which is Pisces, which is this. And it's like, it only benefits both signs to come to meet down the middle, right? So Virgo's like strict practicality, like strict, like, you know, regimented work ethic, just kind of like, sometimes just like being the assembly line of your own life. You can only benefit by leaning into the kind of mysticism of Pisces, the go with the flow of Pisces, the imagination, the creativity, the blah, blah. Whereas Pisces can benefit from you, right? From your energy, from leaning in towards center, towards you, to being like, okay, I'm always in my daydreams. What if I put in practical practice towards my dreams, not just keeping them in my head, right? So there's something here about maybe like, in relationships, maybe you've been in the past very logical about them, and maybe kind of like and this is not a judgment, but this is just the word that comes to mind, like maybe a bit domineering, right? A bit kind of like maybe my way or the highway, right? And it's like, no, this is how things are. Because again, like Virgo in your shadow, you can veer on the kind of controlling, the perfectionism, and maybe not always seeing two sides of the coin in relationships, right? Which is very beautiful. And this eclipse, also don't fall for the hype. Like sometimes like these like all this stuff, it's like, ooh, watch out, shit's gonna go down. And I'm like, okay, like why would we like anticipate things like that? To me, it's like there's like astrology and there's these cycles, but then there's like the deeper spirituality that we can break free from these cycles, right? And I, as someone who loves astrology, like I'm also like, yeah, we can like be aware of these things. It's just about self-awareness, right? So there might be in the past that perhaps it's being illuminated to you, and maybe this is what the eclipse will even illuminate to you further. It might be a bit triggering too, and if so, that's okay. Any trigger is kind of a gift. It's like, you know, something that wants to be healed. It's like a bully being like, hey, I'm tired of being a bully. Someone help me, give me some love, right? So it's like perhaps in the past, yeah, how relationships, it's just been very, maybe a bit like militant, right? A bit like, well, no, this is how the relationship is, and this is the plan, and it's like the other partner maybe is not always included in that plan, right? That it's like the plan is made and like this is just how it is. And like I think there's something about like leaning in, and also too, this is Pisces' card. Like now that I'm like going on this diatribe about Pisces and leaning into the Pisces energy, the moon is Pisces' card. So you do have your opposing energy here in this reading, which is interesting. Like after the fact, I'm like, oh, right. And now, and this is kind of like really like there is Virgo and Pisces in this card. There's a dog and a coyote or a wolf, whatever. I forget whatever, coyote, wolf, whatever, who cares? The wolf or the coyote is kind of like our inner instincts, right? It's more the perhaps Pisces nature. And the other one is the dog. It's kind of like our bodily, like our social persona, like how we literally show up in the world, right? Whereas the dog is kind of like how we more feel when we're by ourselves, right? So Virgo, I know you feel a lot of things when you're alone and when you're not speaking, that things that maybe you don't always reveal, perhaps including to your romantic partners. And maybe it's like, maybe you are leaning into a more like romantic side of yourself, right? To lean into kind of that, the like goofiness of life and just like, you know, the fun of life. It's like there's so much to say for, and again, it's like Virgo, it's like, I'm such a fan of Virgo people, Virgo energy. And it's like, no one gets shit done like you. And I really admire that as someone who sometimes I feel like I'm like wasting time every day. Mind you, I'm also hard on myself. Everyone I know is like, Daniel, no one does more than you, but very admirable your dedication to your work and your service, but there's something that maybe this part of your life has been neglected, right? Which is okay. It's like anything else. I mean, there's so many parts of life. It's like all the plates can't be spinning at once. It's like for me, it's like, you know, finally I'm like, all right, like my finances and like just areas of life that I've never really looked at, and it was kind of scary. And really, it's just scary till you look at it. Then it's not scary. So if there's something that you're like, why do my relationships always end up this way? Or like, why are things going the way they are? Or why, you know, it's like ultimately, Virgo, if something, and this is not just pointed at you, this is everybody. I saw this really good meme the other day. I was like, holy shit, isn't that the truth? If there's something about your relationships right now or in the past that keeps haunting you, or like a pattern that appears, it's like almost like if a snake bit you, would you do everything in your power to go find, and as a Virgo, I kind of laugh because you might be like, yeah, I would. But it's like if a snake bit you, a venomous snake, would you spend, and you're like, there's like poison now in your body. Would you spend all your time scouring the forest trying to find the snake to get the snake to explain themselves and apologize? Or would you try to figure out the way to heal this wound and get this poison out, right? And again, I laugh because a Virgo might be like, well, yeah, find the fucking snake. But it's like, you know what I mean. I think you understand my point. That there's something I think about relationships or how you relate to others. It doesn't even have to just be romantic, but about how you relate to others that's being illuminated. Maybe in the past, it's been a bit of a blame game maybe, right? And that's okay. This is like how we are as humans. We're like, I'm broke because I'm this because of that. It's like, and then, you know, I think the world is getting so crazy that we're just kind of starting to turn inward and be like, okay, right. I hold the key to my happiness and that's it. And if there's a pattern, I mean, at the end of the day, anything in life, the common denominator of your life is you. The common denominator of my life is me. And we're all just common denominators moving around. We crash into each other and we're like, right? So it's like to change maybe the, you are the common denominator. So it's like, what can you maybe lean into, look into, to figure out that it's like, okay, like what could maybe, I'm always like taking action. But what's steering that action? What is steering my actions? Maybe my subconscious, maybe my thoughts, maybe my stories about myself, maybe how I feel, right? And it's like the moon is Pisces' card, and the moon in Latin is la luna. And when we ignore, so la luna is like lunatic. When we ignore our emotions, it turns us into a bit of a lunatic, right? So Virgo, I just love you. You're on a great path. You're exactly where you're meant to be. But I think there's something about, how you relate to others. And also too, it's like the earth signs. I think it's like everything in astrology. I always say it's like, we're almost like just here to, we're here to really ultimately be amazing if we could balance out all the elements within our bodies and within ourselves. But it's like ultimately, it's like also like this beautiful thing about mastering our own element, and you're the element of earth. So it's like, okay, be real with yourself, Virgo. Are you your earth, right? Earth. The earth element is the only one that blocks us. Even fire, you can walk through it if you want, right? Water, you can swim through it. Air, you can, they're all tumultuous in their own way, but it's like, Virgo, be real with yourself. Are you building kind of mountain walls around yourself that separates you from others? Or are you going to build like meaningful mountaintops that are worth climbing with others, and then creating beautiful views that are, worth seeing, and then going down to the other side? And so you're on a beautiful path. You are the king, whether you're male, female, whatever, you are the king. But I think there's just something about, that maybe the king, it's like, and I mean this in a good way, and this has happened to me in my life. It's like almost like being dethroned. There's something very powerful about being humbled in life. And maybe you're feeling a bit humbled right now about something. And that's a good thing. It is. I've been humbled. I've dethroned myself from the pedestal I've put myself so highly on. Right? And it's nice. It's kind of nice to come down to earth again. It's almost like you want to go from the king to the fool. You want to come back to the fool's journey, card 0, and be like, I'm taking a fucking leap of faith with my dog. Let's go, right? So you got this. This is about leaning into the subconscious. And these pillars are like in the death card too. Like you see these pillars far away from the death card. So if you've gone through kind of like a big change in your life, it's like maybe you're here now. You went through the weird thing and now you're kind of like here. Now it's kind of like more the inner quest, and being like, look at this card, and being like, wouldn't this be nice to feel connections, true connections with others, romantic and otherwise, not just romantic, but everything, right? Because you're amazing. You're meant to really change and help the world. You're here to be of service. You're here to like make everything easier for everybody, right? You know what's up, and it's only going to be better for you if you kind of get to know yourself a bit better. You are the common denominator of your own life. So that means you can kind of, you like controlling things. That means you can kind of control your whole outer world in a way. Change the common denominator factor. I love you, Virgo. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video. You're fabulous. See you next week.